So tonight we're having shrimp scampi. This is the first time that I've made this recipe. I usually wing it, but I am following a recipe that I found on Pinterest, and this is everything that you're going to need. You need 1 bag of raw shrimp, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 4 cloves of garlic, or I have the minced stuff here, a teaspoon of salt. Thank you, Logan. Thank you. A teaspoon of salt, 4 tablespoons of butter, or I'm using the margarine here because butter is just so expensive right now. 1/3 cup of chicken stock. I have the Better Than bouillon, and I'm just going to make my own. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Fresh is always better, but I have this stuff that I've had in my fridge and I need to use up. And then a tablespoon of parsley. I have the dry stuff that I'm going to be using today. So I'm just going to get my water boiling and get the noodles going. Oh, I am using penne noodles. There's a little bit less than half a box left. I don't have any fettuccine or linguine or anything like that. I don't even have spaghetti noodles right now. So I'm just going with the flow, and that's what I have. So I'm going to get my noodles going because that's what's going to take the longest. Then I'm going to start thawing my shrimp and whipping up dinner. Alright, so the shrimp is thawed. I just put it in this container, and I put half of the salt that we need. Sorry, this is going on. They're fighting over the mop bucket and the mop. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I have half of the salt, half of the minced garlic, and half of the olive oil that you need in here. This recipe also calls for red pepper flakes, but we don't like that kind of stuff. We don't like spicy stuff, so if you wanted, that you could put that in here as well. I'm just going to mix this up and let it kind of marinate while the noodles cook. The water just started boiling, so I just put those on. So these will be sitting for probably about 15 minutes. And then I will start cooking them up and making the sauce. Alright, so the noodles are almost done boiling. They just have a couple more minutes. I just put some olive oil in this pan, and I am going to dump my shrimp plus all of the juices and everything right into this pan. So I'm just going to cook these shrimp for about 1.5 minutes on each side. And then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. You need a little bit more garlic because I only used half of the amount to marinate the shrimp. I also need a little more salt, the parsley, the 4 tablespoons of butter or margarine, whatever you want to use, and then the lemon juice. And then I also went ahead and made up my chicken stock with the Better Than the bouillon, so I'll also be adding that after the shrimp is cooked. Oh, and when the shrimp is cooked, you want to remove the shrimp to make the sauce and then add the shrimp back in. Alright, so here it is all done. I just put the noodles in and then I left a few for picky people, just in case the kids, if they don't like the sauce or whatever. And I think this is a good amount of pasta anyways, so I'll probably just save the rest for they can eat buttery noodles or whatever for lunch. Anyways, I did try this and it's really good. I did add a little bit of pepper. I mixed that in and it just made it even better, but yeah, highly recommend. I really like this. Tonight's dinner is really easy. It's barbecue pulled pork. I just have my pork tenderloins in here. This is almost 2 pounds of pork. And then I put about a cup of barbecue sauce. I'm using the Sweet Baby Ray's. You can use whatever kind you want. And then I have Dr. Pepper cherry here, but you can use whatever soda you want. I used about half of the bottle and I just put that in here. And this is after I sprayed the crock pot. I am going to put it on high for about 5 to 6 hours and then shred it up. So these were actually supposed to cook on low for 5 to 6 hours and I had them on high and it was close to 7 hours. We were gone and we didn't get back when I thought we would get back. So yeah, they were still good. They were a little stringy, a little overcooked, but with the sauce they weren't too bad. So I just went ahead and drained almost all the liquid, added in a little bit more of the Dr. Pepper, and then probably close to half a cup more of barbecue sauce, and just mix that up. I also added a little salt, and then it was good to go. I ended up making just a packet of instant potatoes in the microwave, and then I added a little bit of sour cream to make them taste better, and then I had some canned corn that my mom made, and that was dinner on this night. So on this day I also decided to make us up a snack to have in the fridge. I made up some Monster Energy balls. I was looking on Pinterest for a recipe and I just seen so many that I liked and I didn't have the ingredients for all of them, so I just went ahead and made up my own. I'm using about 2.5 cups of oats. These are quick oats. Most of the recipes that I seen called for old-fashioned, but I didn't have those, and this turned out just fine. I also put in a cup of peanut butter. I am using Jif because that's what I have on hand. I also put in a half a cup of honey. A little tip for you guys, go ahead and spray your measuring cup before you put the honey in. It just makes it come out a lot easier. I also put in about a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I threw in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of flax seeds. I have these in my pantry and I need to get rid of them. I also put in about a half a cup of chocolate chips and about 1/4 cup of mini M&Ms that I also had in the pantry from making some M&M cookies, and I needed to use those up. And then I just went ahead and mixed it until it was all combined. And you'll want to spray your hands before you start rolling them into balls. It just makes it a lot less messy. This recipe ended up making 16 pretty good sized ones, and I just store them in the fridge. So on this night I was making a creamy pasta dish and I lost a little bit of my footage, but all I did was cook up a pound of ground beef, and then I added in 1/3 of a brick of cream cheese and let that melt, and then I added salt, pepper, and onion powder just until it tastes how you want it to taste. And then I have a pot of water boiling with half a box of noodles. I just use the spiral kind, but you can use whatever you have on hand. And then I went ahead and added a cup of chopped spinach to my beef and cheese mixture, and then I added a jar of sauce. I used the Classico for cheese, and then I went ahead and just put my noodles in the sauce and tossed it around. And then to serve it, I sprinkled a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top. This dinner was absolutely delicious. Everybody loved it, and it's something I will be adding to my list of meals that everybody likes, and we will be making it again and again. So this is dinner the next night. I'm just frying up some bacon. We are going to be having some Western burgers. So I went ahead and also put some onion rings into the air fryer so those could get cooking while I started seasoning the beef and making up the burgers. To my pound of ground beef, I added in this Kinder's caramelized onion burger, probably about 1.5 teaspoons. I went ahead and mixed that up really good, made my patties, and then my husband usually is the one who cooks the burgers. He'll usually make them out on the grill, but I think he was working later this day, so I just went ahead and cooked them on my griddle on my stove, and I added some mild cheddar cheese slices on top. Once the burgers were done and my bacon and onion rings were done, it was time to assemble the burger. So for these, you just put on your bacon and your onion rings, and then you put a little drizzle of barbecue sauce on top. Highly recommend. This burger is so delicious. It's one of my favorite burgers to make at home. And then we also, of course, I had to spill some barbecue sauce as well. Why not? And we also ended up having extra onion rings to have on the side as well. So this was dinner tonight. This is dinner the next night. We just have some brown sugar hickory baked beans cooking on the grill. And then these potatoes have smoked paprika, garlic salt, oregano, and pepper on them. My husband cooks them. This is his thing that he does. And then he also went ahead and grilled up some hot dogs as well, just the Kogel's beef kind. And that was dinner. And we ended up having leftovers of the pork and of the creamy pasta, and that's how we got our 7 dinners for the week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more shelf cooking videos. Bye guys.